The seesaw is currently unbalanced. It's like as if I was sitting on it with all my COVID weight. Now, we need to look at Marxism, and I think we did Marxism in class, and I'm going to do Marxism quite quickly here. Marxism is a theory which is all about social class. For Karl Marx, who writes in the 19th century, social class is the most important thing. For Marx, there are two social classes. And those two social classes can be represented by that drawing that I've done there. They are the bourgeoisie, who I would put in the middle, the tiny circle, and the proletariat, that I would make the big circle. Now the proletariat, sometimes you can call them the subject class or the working class. The bourgeoisie, they're the ruling class. Remember, the king has a rule. The king is the ruler. Everybody else is his subjects. That tells you a lot about the bourgeoisie. Now the reason that we've drawn this shape is, one, because of the population. There are lots more members of the proletariat than the bourgeoisie. Two, because the bourgeoisie have the power. They are the centre of the universe. They are the ones in charge. And three, this, well, I suppose there's a fourth as well, but I couldn't draw my traditional class structure and label it bourgeoisie and proletariat. And the reason I couldn't do that is because this implies that there is a wave moving up towards the bourgeoisie. It is not. There is no social mobility. I cannot move up and down. I cannot become bourgeoisie if I'm proletariat, according to Marx. And I suppose the final reason is, if I did draw this shape, it would imply that they are very poor proletariat and they are very rich proletariat. Oops. And that wouldn't work either, because the final reason is all the proletariat are the same. They are all exactly the same in terms of the situation that they are in. And that situation is a very, very bad one. There's a situation where we have exploitation. The bourgeoisie exploit the proletariat. How do they do it? They do it through money and wages. And how do they get away with doing it? Well, it's simple. They get away with doing it because of capitalism. And capitalism is private business ownership. So I can own my own business, and guess what? When I own my own business, I decide what the person who's working for me gets paid, because the bourgeoisie are the owners and the proletariat are the workers. And if I'm a member of the proletariat, all I can sell is my time. If I'm bourgeoisie, what I can sell is everybody's work, the sum total of everybody's time. And then I can pay myself a lot more. So this capitalist system is exploitative. It allows the bourgeoisie to get away with getting rich off the back of the proletariat's work, according to Marx. And Marx does not want capitalism. He wants to get rid of it. He doesn't like it. And the way to get rid of it is through a revolution. And that revolution would put in place communism. And in a communist world, rather than being private business ownership, it's state-owned business. So everybody owns the business. Everything is state-owned. And that's brilliant. Because for Marx, he says, when I get my diagram, all I do is eradicate that bourgeoisie, take out the centre, and I've just got one big potato. Everybody the same. And that would be a classless society. And in a classless society, there's no poverty, there's no inequality, there's no crime. Because everybody's got the same, and in theory, everybody is happy. So why don't we quickly, because this is the majority, why don't we all just now overthrow the really rich? We take Jeff Bezos out in the street and whip him. Overthrow capitalism, put in place Marx's wonderful idea of communism, get a classless society, and everything will be brilliant. Well, the reason that Marx says we don't is not that we shouldn't, but is because stopping the revolution, my potato has got a blindfold on. And stopping that revolution is something called false class consciousness. And it is the idea that the proletariat are happy being exploited. They are happy with the situation they're in because they're getting some money. because they're told to work hard, because everything in society, their families and the education system promote going and working and getting a job. So actually they think it's normal to be exploited, and they don't even see the situation, the bad situation that they're in. And Marx thinks that we don't get a fair society until we take the blindfold off and we overthrow the government, or we overthrow capitalism and put in place a communist state. Okay? That's what he's looking for. What's the problems of this though? Well, remember, in my communist state-owned classless society, everybody gets the same money, regardless of the job that you're getting. So you get paid according to what you need, not how much work you do or how difficult your job is. There's a potential weakness of Marxism, but what's the issues with motivation? Would you be motivated to be a doctor if you know you're getting the same as a street sweeper? And the other big weakness is the Soviet Union, where they did try to implement communism, and it ended up with about 100 million people being killed. And most of the people were killed for just thinking that maybe capitalism was okay. Thought really shouldn't be a crime. So that is Marxism. Now, I didn't even look in my book there to check which bits we needed to fill out, but you've got your drawing, you've got your difference between capitalism and communism that we've explained. We know that Marxism, and this is here something I should have put at the start, Marxism is a conflict theory. Now, we're going to come across other conflict theories, but the conflict, rather than consensus, which functionalists believe, the conflict is between these social classes, between these groups. So, in a conflict theory, there's always fighting over power and money. And usually, conflict theories think that one group comes out on top. For Marx, he thinks the bourgeoisie come out on top, but he's writing to try and get people to do this, to change. And consequently, he's going to start to balance our seesaw a little bit by putting Marxism on the left-hand side in favour of change.